in the outro, when at last you give in, when at last you give in, wake me up, will you wake me up? Right. And that's where he's just singing, floating, like I'm picturing, the whole entire song, not just this part, but just like ripples, just kind of like just standing in a big giant pond, and just take your finger and just kind of like stick it in and you just watch the ripples, drop a rock in the ripples. And that, to me, that's what this whole song is. It's just waves, pulsating waves, ripples, of sound, of emotion. It's just genius. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Into the Music. My name is Greg, and I think it's a treat tonight, whenever you're watching this. So this is Radiohead, and I haven't done Radiohead in a long time, since I started up the channel again, right, in early October. I've hit Arctic Monkeys and Stone Roses and Aurora and Måneskin, and then sprinkled in with some other stuff, Joy Division, and going right down the line, Happy Mondays, and so Radiohead has been right up there with the Stone Roses and Aurora, Arctic Monkeys. Sorry to repeat, but I've done so many. Chris and I have done so many reaction videos to those named bands and artists, and Radiohead is right up there. We've done like, I don't know, 10 to 15. The one song, well, there's a lot of songs we haven't done, but one of them, and it actually happens to be, there's no argument here. And I've listened to a lot of Radiohead, and this song I've only discovered like in the last 3 years, but it is absolutely my favorite. Separator. Separator is my favorite. That is from the King of Limbs album from 2011, right? And it's to me, it's a masterpiece. Well, I'm going to save that stuff for the other side. I kind of already sort of blew it, right? Is he going to like it? Well, the fact is, this is not a first-time reaction. This is a song that's been requested over and over and over, over the months as we were doing Radiohead. Gotta check out Separator. Gotta check out Separator. I know Separator. Gotta check them out from the basement, live at the basement. It was actually the first time I heard the song. So there's nothing authentic here. As far as like, oh my God, this is amazing. What this is going to be is, it's going to be like a love fest. I'm going to take the song and hug it and squeeze it, and just pay tribute, listen to it again. And on the other side, really get into the lyrics and how they match up with the music and vice versa and the whole thing. So with Separator.
What else do we need to do, by the way?
We need to do Separator.
Let's do that.
Cowbell.
It's good.
Drum beat.
Falling off the giant bird that's been carried.
And Tom's voice.
There are songs that where I can just go on and on and on. Uh, then there's songs that I'm just speechless. And I mean, I've heard this song as I mentioned uh, up front. I mean, but I love this song. This song takes my breath away almost every time. It is one of those rare songs, but there are songs that I absolutely adore that just take my breath away that are achingly beautiful. Achingly beautiful. I just ache every time. Certain sounds, and there were several moments in this song that just had me. And so on the other side, I'll go into that. Also pull up some information about the song and the lyrics.
Yeah, I just simply absolutely cherish that song. Uh, this was so what happened was um, Radiohead. It's it was there's been no hate, right? Because the whole love hate thing. There's been no hate with Radiohead, but in the early 2000s, after OK Computer, I think what came next was Kid A, and then Amnesiac. I might have it mixed, the order mixed up, but I think it was in that order. It Some of the music on there was interesting, and but also they were going into this sort of very uh, digitized music that was boring to me. It was experimental for them, and it was opening up doors and everything else for them. And I think musically, it really paid off later on. And people will argue that the music at that time was paying off. It was fantastic. It was new. It was different. Um, I just didn't connect, and so I kind of went bye bye. And also at that time in my life too, I was getting engaged, then getting married, then buying a house, and then kids. I mean, all in like in a 3-year period. This is all um, hitting me like it was a negative thing. It was an amazing time in my life, but um, music was not front and center. Like it is now. Even though I got 17-year-old kids, twins. Um, I have a house. I have a job, a full-time job, and the whole thing. You would think that I don't have time for music. It's different. It's just different now. Um, at that time, just everything. You know, you're starting out, right? You're kind of lifting up. You're lifting up. Um, so, and Radiohead didn't really do me any favors by kind of going down this road of, you know, I just lost interest. So cut to a few years back, right? And my kids are becoming teenagers and they're starting to discover music and some music that, that I love, but then also some of their own stuff, right? But one of the bands that my son Sean was really getting into heavily was Radiohead. And I found that kind of funny, interesting, like cool. But instead of listening like as he would play these songs, instead of hearing the same stuff from like the 90s, right? The Bends and OK Computer, and he's playing stuff that I've never heard before. And I'm like, what is this stuff? And I'm like, it's really good. So through Sean becoming a Radiohead fan, right? I started gravitating again to the band and saying, okay. So what's really interesting is that I have no recollection of this song being played by my son Sean, but I'm sure he did because he said that, Dad, I was playing it, but I had no recollection. But one day on the train going into the city, and I had my phone and the headphones, and I'm in YouTube, and I came across Radiohead in the basement and this song, and I played it, and it like it was as though I remember like just looking out the window on the train, and seeing like the buildings just flying by, and all of a sudden like they disappeared, and it was almost like I just saw the sky, and just opened up. It was just that type of revelation to me. That song just took me in, just put me up there. Loved it from that moment, and so here we are. So, um, so what I'm going to do is going to go right into the lyrics. I normally go into like information about the song, but let me actually pull up the lyrics. So what's really cool about this song, there's a lot of cool things, but it starts off with the chorus, right? Normally you have a verse, maybe two verses, then you get into the chorus. Um, right here starts off with the chorus. It's like I've fallen out of bed from a long and vivid dream. The sweetest flowered fruits were hanging from the trees, fallen off the giant bird that's been carrying me. It's like I've fallen out of bed from a long and vivid dream. I mean, just the imagery right there, right? You could absolutely 100% picture this. This is a dream. Like every time I listen to a song, every single time, I'm in his dream. I'm in someone's dream. My dream, his dream. I'm picturing, I'm on the bird, he's on the bird, um, the fruits, the trees, the whole thing. Just the imagery is just spectacular. Puts you right there, and that's because of that music. That music is absolutely 100% dreamy. Starting off with that drum, that kind of syncopated type of drum beat, and then that bass, so good. It's like, oh, it's criminal. You shouldn't be playing bass like that. It's beautiful, really. So that's the chorus, and then it gets into the verse, right? The verse. So the first verse, and he changes it up, right? And just exactly as I remember, every word, every gesture of my heart in my mouth, right? And then back to the chorus. Like I've fallen out of bed from a long and vivid dream. Oh my God, it's just genius. And then this talk about genius, right? And then it says, then it goes, finally, I'm free of all the weight I've been carrying. And then there's like this sort of just onslaught of these like all over, like just swirling around of just Tom's voice, just going and to me that symbolizes that weight just coming off. Everything is just falling off. And then you go back, and then now it's verse 2, and again you get that change up in that cadence where he sings, and as that woman blows her cover in the eye of the beholder, I'm a fish now out of water, falling off a giant bird that's been carrying me, right? And then the verse 3, I fell open, I lay under, at the tip off, I lost your number, I want to slip over and get back under. And then this is what sealed it for me. I mean, I remember sitting on that train, and he gets into his bridge, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, I talk about those clouds that I felt like I was just transported into the clouds. When this was happening, it was almost like, out into space. When he sings, and if you think this is over, then you're wrong. And just, I mean, his gorgeous voice, just belting that out. If you think this is over, then you're wrong. And then he repeats that, and then you've got like the synthesizer orchestral type sound that's in the back, right? And that's filling in. And, I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's achingly beautiful. And then he just repeats, if you think this is over, then you're wrong. Just the emotion with every word in those lines. And then it segues into wake me up, right? Wake me up. In between the, if you think this is over, then you're wrong. And then back to the chorus, like I've fallen out of bed from a long and vivid dream. Finally, I'm free of all the weight I've been carrying. And again, interspersed is wake me up, wake me up. And then the outro, when at last you give in, when at last you give in, wake me up, will you wake me up, right? And that's where he's just singing, floating, like I'm picturing, I mean, the whole entire song, not just this part, but just like ripples, just kind of like just standing in a big giant pond, and just take your finger and just kind of like stick it in and you just watch the ripples, drop a rock in the ripples. And that to me, that's what this whole song is. It's just waves, pulsating waves, ripples, of sound, of emotion. It's just genius. And he just sings, wake me up, wake me up, will you wake me up? And the song ends, unfortunately. Just have that on repeat cycle in my head for the rest of my life. I think I'll be fine. It's incredible. What do you think? You think I like the song? It's absolutely one of my favorites. Not just one of my favorite Radiohead songs. I mean, right up there as one of my favorite songs of all time. Oh, and about the basement version too. I might get some complaints saying, why couldn't you actually have them performing live? It just couldn't. It couldn't happen because the only version that had that was from Radiohead's own YouTube channel. And I'm telling you right now, whenever I try to take something from the artist's YouTube channel and try to post it, it gets blocked. Um, so I wanted to actually get this through so people can listen to this. So this had to be the compromise. So anyway, it was great spending some time with you, and I'll see every one of you on the next episode, especially the next Radiohead reaction episode on Into the Music.